Evening, guys. It's 6:56 at night. Just about West Coast time. It's 19th of June 2024. Weaver, John C. Roseman, California. Yeah, some things I could put out there on YouTube, and other things, no, I don't. No, I don't. Because some things are a little too hard to deal with, and I'd rather not tear things apart for other people left and right. A little bit of a thing I wanted to mention about. On Facebook, I was seeing a picture being passed around concerning about Bill Garnier. Bill Garnier was part of the 101st Screaming Eagles, 506 Paratrooper Infantry Regiment, Easy Company. Have you ever watched Band of Brothers? They would show him on some occasions being interviewed. And online, I actually did get a chance to talk with the guy for a little bit. These days, I really get sad every time I keep thinking about it, too. But I had an honor, even if it's online, to meet with the guy and chatting a few lines here and there, but still, I was honored. I had a lot of respect and admiration for the guy. To shout out to Bill Garnier's family. Things happening. I've been trying to stay away from the political news because some of these guys are still yelling and screaming and yelling at each other, and the independents are eating it up like candy left and right. Apparently, Steve Bannon doesn't like prison. Neither does Donald Trump, so their independents are just using this thing like it's. I don't know what they're using it for half the time. I still need to get more information concerning what happened to that Teton Pass bypass situation. There's a major video out there. It's going to take about a lot, and I got to research it to see if I got everything else on it. But I will talk to you about social bans if I have to. This is a shout out to a lot of people I know out there. Young Turks, Majority Report, Damage Report, Watch List, Young Turks out there. To a certain reverend I know out there probably needs to hear about it as well because he's going to hear about it. And anybody else out there willing to listen. So how would you feel like getting banned off the cell phone? Or better yet, if you'd like to go live in Louisiana and you're a constitutionalist, but you're seeing your constitutional rights getting violated left and right by seeing religion invading public places. It's one thing seeing cemeteries if they were privately owned, to seeing the religious icons out there, which I have no qualms or problems with. But unfortunately, if you're a pure constitutionalist, religion and Caesar does not mix. If one happened to pay attention to the next generation, not the next generation, but to the New Testament on that one, Christ had mentioned something in the 4 books, or 5 books actually, saying that render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. That concludes if you're going to be being nice to tax collectors, because then he said, render unto God which is God. Caesar wants his taxes. Caesar, as in the government, as in the controlling parties, want their due diligence. They got dominance, they've got control, and they're managing your government system by you're willing to give them power. Then they have to have something to make the government system work. Therefore, be kind to the taxpayer. Be kind to the tax collector. Be kind, period. And keep your devotions to God. Now, when it came down for the Constitution of the United States, when we were starting to form up our colonies, yes, prior to that, we actually had colonies out there that were purely for religious convictions. And they wanted segregation at that point. But not until we actually had King of England saying, oh, no, 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 you're going to be dealing things my way, my viewpoint. my way of believing in God. Oh, no, no, no. You don't get yours. You don't get your freedom. We get to tax you like crazy because we need to fill our coffers over here, but your guys are just second-class citizens. So, cough it up, period. Oh, by the way, we already got our troops stationed out there, and every once in a while they'll like to be sequestered into your homes. How you like that one? Things that you get purchased from us, directly and indirectly, we get to tax you. We get to tax you if you're breathing. We get to tax you if you write. We get to tax you, period, just for taxing you. And what representation? You're non-existent except for a money source. How's that one? We want the resources, and you're a resource. Well, guess what? We get to collect that for you. Cough it up. Oh, you're going to be earning wages. We want more of it. And how's this for a killer? You want to believe in God one way? Believe it in my way. Got an issue with that? Our Declaration of Independence was back. And somehow somebody had to fire a shot. So we began the bloody revolution. But now we've got people saying that you're going to have the religious convictions, whether you like it or not, in the public places, including schools. It's going to be posted. You don't like it? So ACLU is going after Louisiana on this one. They don't want the Ten Commandments. Ten Commandments may be moral things to say, but the Ten Commandments is still associated with the Bible, which is still religious, which is still God. And they have a separation of religion here. But the thing is, consider the separation here. They are trying to say there shall be no official government acknowledgement of one faith. We can acknowledge you having the freedom to believe in any faith that you want. But we can't go in there and say that you will believe in this because we said so. They're not about to do that. That's why the First Amendment was made in the first place. That's why that little section in there of separation between church and state at this point. Because we didn't want an official act coming into your home. If you are of another faith other than believing in Christianity, we didn't want that to happen. If you're a Jewish, we still don't want that to happen. You may be believing in the Old Testament, but it's still religion. Now, if we did believe in Judaism, if we did say that we officially recognize it and not Christianity, there would be an uproar in that one still. But if you're constitutionalist, there'll be an uproar on it. Basically, there'll be an uproar on this one because it is interference of religion in politics, and we don't want that. We're looking back at the old laws, what happened, why things had started in the first place. Because religion was starting to affect politics left and right. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to turn into Iran. They had a legitimate government, but you had fundamentalists, you had extremists going in there saying, this is how things are going to be, this is how things are going to be believed in, this is how it is. You don't like it? There's worse things than saying, we're going to take the tongue and we're going to still it. Except in prayer. And we'll be watching, we'll be listening, we'll be monitoring you. Your style of wear, your style of hair color, your style will have to be officially sanctioned and strictly enforced. Sound familiar? We actually had that before when the colonies were getting started. When you had this one religious leader laying down the law, according to him and his interpretation of what the Bible was supposed to be. So now we got Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of Fools and Idiots, called the House of Representatives, or the circus actually. He wants to do things by the Bible, but he's not doing it. He's doing it by ego. If he calls himself a Christian, he's a hypocrite. He's a liar. I call him on it. I call him on his faith. I don't like doing it, but I'm calling it on his face. Christ had never said, not that I understand, not that I have acknowledged it or even knew about it, that we have to publicly announce that we are of a religious faith. We have to be because God said so. God never said so. He just wanted to have a church to believe in him. Fine. The church is the people. Okay. And we want attraction, not promotion into the damn religion here. Otherwise, otherwise, that doesn't work. But what's the attraction? Well, we get people to like us. We want people to follow this faith. So we got to follow this stupid ego trip going on. Who are we really doing it for? God or for the ego? If they start calling themselves, well, I am a mister, I am a pastor, I'm in this. Okay, are you? Yes, I am. You will listen to me because I. And I'm thinking at that point, no, God didn't say it. You're saying it because you're following ego. I'm sorry. Oh, she's really at it tonight. Hang on, I got to deal with my dog. Yeah, I can go through them all on this one here. I can really go crazy on this one. Now, get into addictive social behavior when it comes down for phones. They're all having conniption fits. Everyone's going crazy because the phones are that addicting. Gee, I wonder why. Electronic devices we got, new objects and items of worship and fascination and money maker for everybody else. So it makes a new product, and now we can't live without the damn thing. Why? Because it's made so indispensable in our lives that. Did anybody say the same thing about nail clippers? Seriously. Did anybody say anything about the nail clippers? We need them for our own hygiene to get down to our toes and clip them out so we don't get any ingrown nails in there. Very sharp, very painful, and hurt like a bastard. Same thing for our fingers. We need these tools. We sell a lot of them throughout maybe 200, maybe more years than that. Indispensable piece of equipment. But do you think this has a royal dominance in our life? Actually, it does. Question. How is this more valuable than a nail clipper? I'll let you answer that one. We as adults have an issue over this because we're seeing ourselves driven more and more crazy with the phones. So we have lawmakers driving themselves crazy over it. We got lawmakers out there trying to force federalism on states at this point over here, taking away their powers of legislative ability and judicial powers to make it their own, to save and salvage one political party member. Or maybe the future of him. Try that one. We got old Gasbag getting his ass kicked in several states. One of which is New York. Still hadn't sentenced the guy. But he's convicted. He's out on his OR. And he's mouthing off left and right. Gag orders enforced upon him. Other judicial avenues are saying, the gag order still applies. And lawmakers are saying, no, it doesn't. He is a former president. It does not affect him. Well, I tell you something, but all of our former elected officials are affected because they're private citizens once more. They're not representative of the U.S. government. Sorry. So they are private citizens and they are subject to state, local, and federal laws. So unfortunately, we're going to get this arguments left and right from the federal. They want to tear apart the state saying that you can't do this. Well, we already proved our case and a few things here and there. No, you don't have the authority. Well, yes, we do have the implied powers at this point over here. No, there are no federal charges. These are state charges. No, there cannot be. Then you're telling me that the federal government trumps everything of the state governments and they're no longer able to do any laws, rules, regulations, ordinances. It has to come through Congress. Well, now you're saying that you're going to be putting up ordinances in every town and you want everything else by federal government. Federalizing troops, federalizing everything out there has to be under one government, one ring that rules them all. Is that it? Well, it'll be a nice thought. I mean, we can have security that way. Yeah. I should be playing a scene in Oppenheimer on this one. There were scenes in the movie Oppenheimer where he was hearing boots marching. People just don't get it how fragile democracy is until we lose it, and then we lose our minds. We think we're doing the right thing, but when we get autocrats in the office, they're going to be telling us what they want. You scream and yell about communism, you scream and yell about socialism. Well, guess what, boys and girls? You just got it. And now you got King George III coming in, and he's saying, "Hi, guys. Welcome back to royalty." I have a great admiration for the British people, government history. And I understand more and more why we had to leave because we wanted a representation. We wanted our freedom. We wanted to have a chance to have the states rule their own little fiefdoms, but we still follow the federal guidelines, rules, and regulations. We have a Supreme Court defining what is of the Constitution and what isn't, letter and spirit of the law. We have checks and balances. It's an imperfect system, but it works. At least it had. Until we get extremists in there, want populism, and then all hell breaking loose. But hey, this is what the voters wanted. And this is exactly why I keep saying it all and all again. I blame the damn voters. The voters who would listen to anybody and everybody talking about how they want things this way and that way. And the problem is, they don't get it. They don't want to get it. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to deal with it and acknowledge it. It's too far out of their heads. Well, good. I hope it is because I don't think these guys understand what the hell's going on. Do they actually understand what they're dealing with here? Do they actually care? I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. Because if they did, they would appreciate how much they're coming closer to losing everything that they believe in for America. With a capital A on it and not just a capital M in it. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. They should be studying world history and how the autocrats came to be. How the empires built their empires. Kept power for decades, for centuries. By the threat of a sword. Even Christ got political. He's trying to save Peter from doom, but maybe it should have been more for the other generations to understand this one. Those who live by the sword die by the sword. You're going to be following the ways of the sword. You understand, it cuts both ways. We haven't got that message. Too stupid. Humanity's too damn stupid, otherwise we wouldn't be putting ourselves through this situation. I also talk about class system sometimes. People want things to be easier. No, it ain't easier. It just has to manage. It has to be managed. It has to work. We have other ways that are compromising. Why not? But if we have an idealism, and it has to be pure idealism at this point, ain't gonna work. Just doesn't. So those are the couple of things I had a beef with today, and it still drives me nuts. Next week we're going to have online and on our televisions we're going to have another, if we're going to have it, a debate between two gentlemen. And what we're going to be hearing from them is going to either convince us that one of them is right, the other one needs to be not right. And if one of them happens to come out with conspiracy theories left and right that we know that are not true, then we've already got our targeted person locked in for voting for. CNN's going to be doing this thing. I think it's going to be Thursday. Or it's probably going to be either next week or this week. I'm not quite sure. I got to find out again. But we are going to be going for it. I'm just not quite sure how the hell we're going to be able to survive it, that's for sure.